Hello, my beautiful Virgos. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Happy Monday, Mental Health Check Day Monday. I hope everyone's doing fine. Hope everyone's doing well. I hope you all had a very beautiful weekend. Let's see what's going on, my beautiful Virgos. Please, everybody, make sure that you're liking the content. It means a lot. It's making a big difference. Okay, you have definitely closed out a lot of cycles from being stuck in the past, okay? The world card is here. New beginnings, new things happening. Knight of Wands. Yeah, you definitely closed the cycle of somebody that was playing games with you. Somebody that you could have been stuck in the past with. That's a beautiful thing, my beautiful Virgos. Okay, congratulations. You closed the cycle of someone playing in and out games. Somebody, this was a cycle. This was a hard cycle. This could have been someone that you allowed to play in and out your energy for the last 6 years. And it was a close. It was a very hard cycle to close, but you finally closed this cycle. I feel like this was a repeated cycle for you. Hello, I'm Positive Thoughts and Energy. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, new viewers. Welcome, cross watchers. This was somebody that it was very difficult. Okay, with this Six of Cups in the reverse, stuck past that. I feel as though this was a repeated cycle. Let me fix my lighting here. Okay, I feel like this was a repeated cycle of finally letting go of someone that had you bound, okay? Had you bound emotionally, okay? When I say bound, that means that they played with your emotions. I feel as though that whoever this was, that it was a hard cycle to close. This was somebody that made you feel like this person was a player, but they also made you feel like that things were going to change about the situation, meaning this was someone that could have gave you a lot of high hopes. Okay, this was somebody that could have rode into your life. Okay, like you see this horse here, could have rode into your life and made you feel as though that they were different when you met this person, maybe 1 to 6 years ago. Six being very significant, Virgo. This is somebody that rode in on their horse that you really liked, had really was head over heels for, and you really thought in your mind at the time, that you, when you met this individual person, that in fact that he was coming in or she was coming in to change your life. Well, they did, but they changed your life in a way that you was not expecting them to change your life, okay? They came in and played with your heart, but they did it in a way so subtle, in a way that they grasped you and had you believing that they were here to change, to be in your life for the better, but you end up being attached to a very low vibration person. And at the time when you were dealing with this person 6 years ago, you were nowhere where you're at now. Okay, so that means mentally they emotionally grabbed your heart mentally. Okay, I can be talking to someone that is an empath, very compassionate, caring. You gravitated to this man or woman very quickly. I feel like some of you caught feelings very fast around this person because of their charmness, about the way that he or she was, that you really fell for this guy or fell for this woman or this man very quickly than what you expected because of how they are. See, they come in as the Knight of Wands. Okay, this person came in and was very charming. We could have been by their looks, by how they talked, by how they, maneuver, because they are a player. They're very charming. They made you feel like they were that person, whatever they were telling you that they were representing themselves to be. Well, it caused you to stay stuck and stagnant with this person with the Six of Cups in the reverse for some years. Could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? And it had you in that energy of being stuck in the past, stuck with this person. So I feel like you and this person held a lot of toxic memories, okay? Yeah, the Ace of Cups in the reverse. There was no love. There was absolutely no love in this, okay? I feel like this was based off a lot of emotional bombing. Also, not if not emotional bonding, emotional bond, okay? Love bombing, emotional bomb, promises, broken promises. This person did not carry out the love that they said that they wanted with you, okay? Because your cup end up spilling over with this Ace of Cups in the reverse. Your love spilled over with this person, okay? The cup spilled over, meaning they didn't have what they said that they had in this cup, okay? That's why the Ace of Cups is here in the reverse. When I read this card intuitively, they spilled their cup over, meaning that they never had it in their cup in the beginning. It's just that it was an illusion to you that you thought that they really, yeah, they cared about what your cup had and what you had in your cup, okay? Yeah, they did. They came in with the Knight of Wands. They came in with their cup. They came in wanting you to believe that their cup was what it was. But in fact, it wasn't. And it made you a believer. Okay, they made you a believer because of their charmness. And so I feel as though some of you got stuck in the past with this person with a lot of rotating cycles with this Six of Cups sitting here in the reverse. That made you stuck in the past with this person because it was the same thing for 6 years. 6 years, 16 years. I'm picking up 6 years. It was the same repeated cycle with this man or this woman because you fell in love with the charmness. You fell in love with the way that this person, it just draws you to that demonic spirit, okay? And when in fact their cup was never full, okay? Because this person, it's okay to be out into the world when you're young and you're just learning and you're dating, you're getting out there. But as you get older, I feel like this could have been someone in their 30s, 40s. You begin to lay down some of those childish, those player ways. And this person was somebody that they love their ego to be struck, okay? And it's like, they come in with this very nice fairy tale of love, okay, and made you feel like they wanted this and wanted that, when in fact their cup was not even full from the get-go, okay? And so the reason why I say that this was a very hard cycle to close is because this person, you went through this a long time, okay? And Virgo, you showed up in your own reading, okay? The Hermit card. So I feel like you had to go in hermit mode. You had to really gain a lot of wisdom. Go, and find out a lot about what was going on here, what was you doing, what was happening here. Sometimes you have to wake up and you have to have reflections of your life, and it's like I feel like you went into that hermit mode, that solitude, and you started to realize that this person did not have any love from you from the beginning. I feel like you had to reassess this whole situation, that this person played on your heart. Look at here, okay? Knight of Wands in the Six of Cups. This person played the same repeated cycle. You went through the same cycle and you did not get it, okay? You went through the same thing for 6 years with this person, in and out, hot, cold, in and out, broken promises. You went through that same repeated cycle. So that's why I say with this cycle, you finally closed it. It wasn't easy. It's easy to say it. Oh, I closed the cycle, or that person, you finally closed the cycle. It was not easy because you went through this for 6 years trying to learn your lesson. That's why I say congratulations to closing this cycle, Virgo, because his cup or her cup was never full in the first place. Okay, they were coming from a place of player energy of getting what they want, to do whatever they can to get what they want, and to make it sound good, and to give you promises that was never there, and you kept believing, because after all, Virgo, you showed up in your reading 1010. 1010 just showed up on my timestamp. You showed up in your own reading that you finally had to go in and do some reflection and gain a lot of wisdom about this. I feel like you had an aha moment. Yeah, you finally started tapping into your intuition and realizing that this person ain't gonna change. This person was never gonna change. Okay. And you realize that you can't change nobody. They are who they are. If they're gonna change, they're gonna change on their own. It ain't gonna be because of you. They're gonna have to do this person gonna have to do a lot of healing. You started tapping into your intuition. You tapped into your inner knowing, and you said, I'm not gonna be a fool no more. Okay? Not gonna be a fool anymore for you. I'm not going to be a fool. I'm tired of the drama. I'm tired of the hearsay. I'm tired of all of that. Okay? You said, I'm tired of the fighting, the drama, all kind of stuff that was going on. You tired of the competition. Okay? This person had other men, other women as well. And you found yourself arguing with a woman or arguing with a man. Like, I'm not going to keep being no fool. You're not worth that. I feel like you finally started tapping into your spirituality. Okay, you finally started listening to your intuition. Okay, and I feel like some of you could have fell back from this person, because your intuition was just, your gut was telling you a lot about this situation. But I feel like it took you going into solitude and going into hermit mode, Virgo, because you showed up in your reading. That's a lot of self-reflection, gaining a lot of wisdom, and started tapping into your spirituality and started seeing this person for who he really is, or who she really was. And that's what made you begin to close out cycles. That means that this was a repeated lesson that you just was not learning. And I feel like the last argument, the last fight that y'all had, this fight could have been prior to, could have been 5 months ago, 5 weeks ago, or 5 years ago. Somewhere between 1 to 5, it was a bad argument, okay? Some type of bad conflict that gave you your turning point with this situation. This is when you said, I'm out of here. I'm done being a fool. That's when you went into hermit mode and gained your intuition, and you started seeing this person for who he was, or who they finally are. One thing about Virgos love very hard. When Virgos in something, Virgos try to stick to it, and I feel like this person, you was so much drawn to this person charm, this person, how they, you just have to look at it that way. The way they made love to you, the way that y'all chemistry was, the way that, and it just, this person knew how to keep you in the loop of other men or other women. They knew this. They can make you feel like you wanted to be felt in the bedroom, and in that emotional connection that you had with this man or this woman. Even though they was charming and a player, you still held on to that, because can't nobody make me feel like he made me feel, or can't nobody make me feel like she made me feel. And you held on to this for 6 years, 1 to 6 years, okay, until it was something that happened that really gave the turning point that you started. Like, it's almost like you finally snapped out of it, okay? You Page of Wands, you got tired of this person's games. You got tired of this person's immature ways, okay? You got tired of just having sex, or you just felt like you was just having sex with this person, and You got tired of their immatureness. Player energy, okay? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. When you done that, you started changing how your life was going. You said, I got to go on my own path. And when you begin to close this cycle, that's why you're getting ready. You're starting to see changes in your life. Good luck, good fortune, because you're finally on your path after repeating the same cycle for 6 years. Okay, some of you 1 to 6 years. Okay, please take what resonate. Come on in, everybody. If you're new to this, take what resonate. Take parts out of this that resonate. Even if some of this may not resonate, this can be a lesson learned that we all can take information and we can apply it to our lives. Okay, so if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just not your story. Okay, this is going to resonate with someone else. Remember that. Okay, please take what resonates. Okay, do not grab it. Don't grab it. Don't grab it if it does not resonate with you. It's not your story. So it took a while for you to learn this lesson, but you cleared your way out of this situation. Okay, you got out of a love that was never there, a love that was never there. I feel like this love that was never there was your illusion you was creating because you wanted this person to really love you and be as genuine to you as you were to this connection that you were in. For some of you, this could have been a friends with benefit. For some of you, this you could have been the person, the side chick or the side dude. Or for some of you, this could have been your husband or wife that you really thought had love for you, or you really thought that emotionally love you when in fact they were playing with you the whole time. And so with this world card, you finally closed that hard cycle. Okay, you finally closed that hard cycle. Now you are on your own path. Now you get ready to see things change in your life for the better. Okay, things are going to start to, because you were not on your own path. You was on the path of another. Okay, you were on a path trying to create something with someone that was not a creation. That means that you were not meant to create things together. Okay, long life. You were on the wheel of player energy. You were on the wheel of somebody that only thought of themselves. But because you're a sign of loyalty, because you're a sign of, when you in it, you try to stay in it until there is a breaking point. And so I feel like your breaking point was when this hermit card fell on the floor. My chair rolled over it. So I feel like you went through a lot of you see the crease in that card. You went through a lot of being ran over. This person took you for granted, ran you over, just treated you any kind of way. That's the energy that I'm feeling, that this person really caused a lot of you see scars. You see that card, and this card is brand new, so it didn't have that on there before until I picked the card up off the floor. So this person drug you. Okay, literally emotionally drug you and took you for granted, took your emotions for granted, really played with your heart, really caused a lot of disturbance in your energy. And that's why I keep saying this was not a hard cycle to close. Okay, King of Cups in the reverse. This person was not emotionally connected. Okay, they were not connected. Their emotions was not balanced. That's why they done you the way that they done you. That's why he done you like this, or she done you like this, because they were not emotionally connected themselves. Okay, how can you love someone when you can't even love yourself? How can you be connected to me when you're not even connected to your own heart and soul? That's why this person done what they done to you. Some of you could have been dealing with somebody that could have been a narcissist. Okay, you do have the Knight of Wands out here. That is a player energy. That is an in and out, hot, cold energy. That is somebody that is only thinking of themselves, that only want to take your energy and hold on to your energy and unplug you. And I feel like I said, this was somebody that you were stuck in the past with. This was a hard cycle to close. And because you were mistreated and abused and done all kind of ways, with this card as being walked all over, ran all over, excuse me, ran all over, that's because this person was not emotionally connected to themselves. There were no balance. There were no balance, okay? There were no balance whatsoever with this person's heart. And so they played on your heart. They played on your heartstring, and they got you where you that they can have you emotionally. So yeah, the devil. The devil. Yeah. Yeah. The devil. That says it all. Capricorn energy, Gemini. I intuitively see Gemini as well. The devil. Yeah, they were. This person was very attractive. This person was. It was something about they were poised. It's something about their energy that captivated you. That had that chemistry of seduction that I told you in the beginning that they made you feel like they didn't you didn't want to give yourself to nobody else. That's because they had this type of demonic power over you, spiritually connected chemistry of karmic. Okay, very. They just knew how to love you in the most demonic way. When I say love you, I mean make love. I ain't gonna just have that chemistry, sex, that demonic spirit of sex, that karmic. Okay, that made you think that they loved you when in fact they just loved to be obsessed and just to do your body the way that they wanted. That was their way of controlling you, of their power, of their beef jerky, of their peaches. And it was very demonic, and then it just captivated and kept pulling you in and kept pulling you in till you just you found yourself lost in it. That was that demon. That was the demonic spirit. That was that soul tie that they was binding with you. Binding. And so the knot became so toxic that's why you kept repeating this cycle for 6 years. It was hard for you to get out of this situation because, and some of you, even though you're not with this person now, some of you are still trying to release and get away from this person, demonic, this soul tie that you had with this person. Mentally, you were definitely soul tied with this person, and definitely the chemistry. And we look at it as the chemistry. Oh, that's a good thing. He just knew how to, or she just knew how to make my body feel. That was seduce. They were seducing you. They were mentally seducing you to have you right where they wanted you, where you would do everything for them, that you would tolerate more than you should have for a long time. I want you to put in a comment, whoever you are listening to me under the sound of my voice, how many years did you go through this? Just put the number in there. And beside that number, I want you to put the word release. If it was 6 years, say I put 6 years released, 5 years released, 10 years released. How long did you go through this? Binding of the devil. Binding of the soul tied. Because the reason why I want you to put that number in the comment is because beside it, I want you to put release. And I want you to look at that number when you put it in the comment. I want you to look at that number and put release beside it, because that right there is the new beginning of your life. Yeah, that's when you're looking at it being written in the comment, because you released it and now you're on your own journey. It's very deep when you look at yourself being totally, when you was once totally had a soul tie with somebody. Okay? When you had a soul tied with somebody that played in your energy. Knight of Wands. Soul tie, stuck in a demonic in a karmic cycle. Karmic cycle of 6+ years. At some point in time, some of y'all, all of us, was in a karmic cycle. We were in a cycle that was a one-way connection. You were in a one-way, you were on a one-way street that you thought you were in love. You thought that there was a reciprocity in this connection that you were in. You're now released from it because you have closed out a cycle and you're finally on your good karma. That means that you finally learned your lesson out of this, that you have healed and done a lot of healing from where you once was. And sometimes, see, we're going to overpower that, okay? Sometimes we have to do reflection. We have to have a reflection over what trumped us and stomped us and mistreated us. And you have to go in solitude and you live and you learn, and you're now very tapped into your higher self with the high priestess, and now you're very mysterious, and now you just don't let anybody in, and now your temple is your sacred place, which is your solar, your crown, from the crown to your feet. Okay, you are very mysterious. You don't let anyone in anymore. You don't let just anyone in your temple anymore. It is very sacred to you. You're no longer allowing anyone to just think they're going to come in and dump their poison in your system. Dump their poison into your beef jerky or your peaches, as I might say. It's a lesson to learn that this person never... Both of these cups was in the reverse. Look at that. Dissect what I'm saying. This person never cared. They just liked the feeling. They were never tapped in emotionally. They just liked the feeling that they got from you. Now, that goes back to the Knight of Wands. This person, not only you, other people that they were playing with, they were never connected with their emotions. They just liked the feeling that they got. In other words, this person had been looking for a void, and it was missing within themselves. They were chasing. That's what makes a player, whether it's a man or a woman. They were chasing the feeling that they were never connected to their feelings. They were just chasing the feeling of that feeling of sex. Okay, they like that drive. They like that craving of sex. Okay, they were disconnected to who they were having sex with, whether it was you and the person before you and the person before you, because they were feeling a void, and the void was all that was missing within themselves, that they needed to love themselves. And that's why they were a player, because they were looking for a fix. And the fix was them needed to fix themselves, but they were going out looking for fixes. It was a drug. You were dealing with somebody that was an addict. And when I say an addict, I mean sex addicted. You were dealing with somebody that was not connected to their soul of caring and loving and emotionally connected. They were addicted to sex. They liked the feeling. Whoever you are, if you have been wondering why this person just would not love you like you love this person, because this person was never connected, has never been connected to themselves, that they never wanted to feel. They just wanted the feeling of it. So this person that you were dealing with, whether this was a man or a woman, they had experienced some type of molestation in their childhood. Yeah, I'm just getting deep with you right now. Yeah, I just got deep with you. They were feeling a void. And this just didn't stop with you. They done this in the past. And they're going to do it until they find themselves. It was never about you. It was the fix that they wanted. That's what made them in the player energy that they were in when you met him or her. Now, if you got to listen to this video more than 2 times, I need you to let that sink in. A lot of times when a person is a player, when a person just goes around and sleep with people, that's because they're feeling a void of being molested in their childhood. So therefore, their sex is their addiction. When they were touched at an early age that they could not understand, it became that turned on it's like that ignited that fuel of addiction. Yeah. Because they're going around feeling a void that they missed. And the void was them not loving themselves because of being molested as a child. That's where it all end up at. That's where it all comes from. So that's why the disconnection was here. That's why the disconnection of them not even attempting to get close to anyone, but they betrayed themselves, they portrayed themselves to be that knight in shining armor, or that person that's very charming, and to come into your life and to make you feel so good, your body feels so good that it craves, because that's what they only wanted, the fix. They didn't want to be connected to you or anyone else. That's called love bombing, emotional bombing, and that's called seducing. That's called forming a toxic soul tied to your energy. That's why it was so hard to get untangled from this person. That's why you end up in the web of a demonic spirit. Because this person don't know what it feels like to be loved, because they were violated as a child. Now I could be talking to you, Virgo. You could have been that person that you never let anyone get close to you, and you just use sex as your object of addiction. Yeah. And so you found that it was safe to mess with different men and mess with different women to fill the void of where you were violated at a young age. Whether that was sexually, or that was never being loved as a child like you supposed to have been loved as a child, never got that love from a mother, from a father, from someone that supposed had loved you the way you deserved to be loved as a child, and he came up into your adulthood where you were trying to fill that void that you never got as a child. See, it goes deep. Stay with me, because this video is long and I need you to stay with me. I need you to not lose your focus. I need you to stay with me. I need you to turn off that quick rush. Turn it off. See, we go through things and we don't understand it as we get older, that we realize that what we went through in our childhood very much plays a big role in our adult life. Some of us was abandoned, looking for love, searching for love, searching for someone to love us, searching for someone to love us. Some of us was molested, searching to fill that void of somebody wanting to love us and care for us and take it, and so we're looking for that fix, whether you were abandoned, whether you were molested, whether you were whatever you was. We're looking for that fix. Whether this is you, Virgo, or this is someone that you were dealing with, you were looking for that fix all these years. And so that's why you kept repeating same cycles. And it took a lot of years to close these cycles. When I see the Six of Cups in the reverse, that Six of Cups in the reverse is telling me you were stuck in cycles. Now, these Six of Cups could have been 6-year cycles. This Six of Cups it took these different cups to clear out your karmic cycle. When I say 6 years of trying to close out these cycles, those are hard cycles to close. Some of you could have been fighting against your own self. Some of you could have been fighting that fix of different relationship, jumping from different relationships. Reverse the roles, everybody. This could be you, or this could be somebody you were dealing with. This is why this person could never love you, or this is why you could never love anyone, because you were trying to fill a void that you needed to love yourself. All this boiled down to is self-love. For some of you, you had someone that played with your heart, and your soul never loved you because they were disconnected from themselves. For some of you, this was you that didn't know how to love because you were disconnected from love, and you was just having sex. My God. Woo! You were just having sex. You were just going through the motion. You thought you loved. You were just loving how they made your body feel, and made you climax, and made you, yeah. It was the feeling. It was the feeling that it gave you. It was the feeling. This person was never connected to you. It was the feeling that you gave them. It was the fix that you gave them. Or this was you, the feeling that they gave you. You never was emotionally connected in the first place. You thought you was. I'm tapping into somebody's energy real bad. It was the fix. It was the feeling that you got from the sex of this person's spirit that they was putting in you. That was the fix. The old folks back in the days called it white liver. I had a friend girl that was a friend of mine years ago, that she kept running through different men's, and she was just looking for that void. And the old folks used to say back in the days, when a person is just looking like they're never satisfied with the sex, they say they call them white livers. That person has a white liver. It's somebody that just could not get enough of sex. They never put feelings into it. They just like the feeling of it. So this person that you were dealing with just like the feeling of the sex. They were running after the feeling They were totally disconnected because you have the King of Cups in the reverse and you have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. That means that they were disconnected. That's what put them in the player energy anyway. That's why they played with a lot of different women, played with a lot of different men, because they were never connected, but they made you feel like they were connected to you when all along they were connected. They were connecting a soul tie with you and other women and you and other men. That's why it was so hard for this soul tie, this knot. They were so knotted, embedded in you. That's why it was so hard for you to disconnect and heal from this person. Till one day, this could be you fighting your own self, fighting your feeling, fighting your own self, fighting your feeling, fighting, conflicting with your own inner self. Stay with me because this is deep. It could be you fighting your own self, or this was this person fighting against themselves. But you got tired. For some of you, this could have been this person. You got tired of the competition, the fighting, the battle with somebody to love you. They couldn't love you, Virgo. They couldn't love you because they didn't love themselves. You couldn't love them because you didn't love yourself. Are you seeing where I'm going with this, Virgo? Yeah. Until one day, you closed that cycle and changed and came out of that. And you finally began to love yourself. Whether this is your story, Virgo, or whether this is the story that you lived from in somebody else's world. You were in somebody else's world. It's what Spirit is saying. You know how they say Jerry's world with Dallas Cowboys? They say Jerry's world. You were living in whatever that person's name, you were living in their world. You were in the world of someone else's. You were the character. You played a part in somebody else's world. You were living in the devil's world. Wow. I know you said, Miss Positive Thoughts of Energy. That is deep. And it is. And it is. Very much so deep. Until one day you came and you began to you went into hermit mode and you gained a lot of wisdom. You went in solitude. And you begin to tap into the high priest is your inner knowing, that intuition that you began. You started becoming very, you began to be sacred towards yourself and started to learn to love yourself and started to love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. And that's why the Wheel of Fortune in here, because you finally came out of Jerry's world, out of that person's world, and you began to get in your world and begin to make things change in your life. See, you started creating your world, the world card. You began to get on your own path. You were on a different path. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. You were in somebody else's world. Let me get confirmation. You were living a world of someone else's, Virgo. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And it all starts from, let me get these cards out. Something happened in your past, along your childhood, along this person's childhood, that they came to you out of void. They just liked the feeling of the sex. They were disconnected with their heart. They just like the feeling that it brings. That's why they were a player. That's why they had a lot of women, a lot of men, because they just like that feeling that they got of injecting their penis in that person, or the peaches. She just liked that feeling that beef jerky gave her. It was the feeling. It was never emotionally connected. Confirmation, Spirit. Confirmation, Virgo. Confirmation. Now you're very picky. You're very picky, very selective. You have done a lot of healing. You're not allowing anyone to dump their poison into your portal. See that? Three of Wands. That's being very picky, very selective. You are a Queen of Wands. You are only attracting. You're only attracting, and being very selective of who you attract into your life now. Yeah, Two of Wands. You chose your path. You made a decision about what it is that you want in your life. Wow, that's deep, ain't it? I'm positive thoughts and energy. In my readings, there are lessons, blessings, and confirmations. You just got to be open-minded and vigilant to the message. The magician came out in the reverse. I feel like you had been, you were going through, you learned that you were going through a lot of manipulation, or you could have manipulated a lot of men or a lot of women because you were chasing the fix, not the feelings. You were not, somebody was not connected to themselves. They just was connected to the fix. Now you're on your karmic, good karma, justice, balance, good karma. Three of Swords in the reverse. Now you have healed from that. You have done a lot of heal. Now you are recovering from the abandonment, being mistreated, abused, used when you were young, when you were little. Now you are coming out of that. And you have released the devil. My God, you have released and cut, and that soul tie is no longer on you. You have released and cut the soul tie. You are no longer connected to that burden. That exhaustion. You have finally defeated the devil. And this could be you in your own mind, body, and soul. The struggle of being addicted to the fix of sex, that mentalness because of how you were touched at an early age, that you could not control the fix, the running after the fix, or this was you abandoned from somebody that didn't show you love, and you was looking for love in all the wrong places. You were running after a fix, and you were never connected in the first place, or they were never, whoever this person was, never connected in the first place. But you finally released and closed that cycle. And I was here to explain to you why this cycle was so hard to close for you. And it took a lot of lessons learned for you to get it. And now you are on your new cycle of new beginning. Until next time, Virgo.